All right, hello and welcome to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. Man, this is a birdie fest.
It's a Philly show, baby.
Let's
go.
That's right. Welcome in to Swing It and Ding It, an iHeartMedia podcast. This is Moose along with Mays and Matthews, and we are sponsored by Buy My Balls. We'll talk a little bit more about Buy My Balls. Wear SBF came in handy in the Dominican for sure. Not for some guys, but for others that actually used it. And of course, Bet Parx. We'll talk about Bet Parx when we see the line for the RBC Canadian Open. But when we open this, it was the great Michael Collins talking about it's a Philly show, right? And it is, and we love Philly golf. You can see by my subtle little hat here, Philly golf, and we keep it in Philly tonight with Trevor Bensel, PGA Pro from the great Lulu Country Club, one of our favorite places in the world. Assistant and teaching pro there, and most recently the winner of the 27th annual Haverford Philadelphia PGA Classic. Trevor, welcome to Swing It and Ding It.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start there, right? Incredible performance. The largest first place prize of any of the PGA's 41 sections. Talk about that event and the you've played in a lot of big events, but what was that one like for you? Did it feel any different?
Yeah, man. This is I think this was my 9th or 10th year playing in it. Obviously always on my radar every year as everyone else. I've came close a couple times, lost in a playoff a couple years ago. First place was $100,000 then. I think it was 5 years ago. I think I made $1,200. So that kind of took me a while to get over, but yeah, I just went out and played, had a good front nine. I think I was at 4 under. I hit to like a foot on 9 to get to 5 under. Then I birdied 10. I'm like, all right, like this is my tournament to win. I'm in control. I know what I have to beat. So just to kind of hold on and close it off down the stretch, it was awesome.
Now, $100,000. We rewinded a year ago. We host the NEPA Invitational, a tournament that donates a lot of money to Children's Hospital. And what people sometimes often don't realize is that we promote, the future of golf, and we also offer a pro person. You took home $50,000 there. So talk about the impact of you just kind of standing here stacking cash and how this supports your career, and what you're doing with it, and how it's changed your life.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm a club pro. Like, we don't make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, if I wasn't, decent at golf, like making money playing golf, I probably wouldn't be in the business. But no, it's been great. I've been fortunate to win a couple events with big purses, and I'm not gonna squander it. I'm not gonna take it for granted. It's could be once in a lifetime opportunity. So I'm gonna be smart with my money and not gonna blow it.
That's smart. That's not a normal comment from most golfers.
Yeah.
Can you dispel the rumor that you had to buy a pack of Salon Paws for John Rusk after that win at the NEPA because of his back pain?
I can't confirm nor deny.
A pack of what?
Salon Paws. Come on, Danielle. It's great for
It's
the
like
back.
icy hot. It's
yeah.
Like, I was like, I don't know what that is.
He's on the IR right now, so who knows?
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Heard it here first. Let's swing it, dang
it.
Well, now you're kind of a recent addition over at Lulu, are you not?
Yeah. Just within the last couple of weeks. It's funny. I was kind of between jobs. I worked down in Florida at Seminole. Been caddying there for like 4 years. And I had a good winter. Was happy, making money. I was playing a lot, and I was like, why don't I just do this up north? So I ran into the caddy master of Pine Valley down there. I'm like, hey, you got a spot up there for me? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So my original plan was to just kind of caddy all summer and teach a little bit on the side. And then, an opportunity popped up at Lulu, And Rusk is like, yeah, happy to have you. So he kind of gave me a place to hang my hat, teach a little bit. So that just all happened in the last couple of weeks.
Seminole
you
to
get the
Pine
win.
Valley, not terrible.
Yeah,
and
Seminole,
then you
Pine
get the
Valley.
win. It's like
Yeah.
Lulu. Lulu just it is a winning
Yeah.
place, right? It's a place for winners.
That's the
Yeah.
other funny part too, is because I was between jobs. I was like, I had so much indecision on kind of what to do. Technically, I've kind of been homeless for the last month, so just kind of been bouncing around, staying at a friend's house, and then I go out and win $100,000. So now I can find a place to live.
At a studio apartment, right?
I mean, you see, I'm in a hotel right now, right?
I was going to ask, because we know that you were just up in New Jersey at Canoe Brook final stage trying to qualify for US Open. So talk about your current game right now, and obviously being in this new position at Lulu, but talk about still pursuing, trying to play some golf.
Yeah, I feel like I've been playing pretty good so far this spring, summer. Obviously didn't have my best yesterday at sectionals, but just having the opportunity to go out and compete against those guys and see how my game stacks up, it shows me how much I actually have to keep practicing and getting better. It's that level. It's not, you're not playing against club pros. You're playing against some of the best players in the world. So I got a lot of work to do, but I'm definitely going to keep pursuing it. And I think winning the Haverford kind of extended a couple of years for me having that dream to maybe get to the next level. So.
And will you be defending your title at the NEPA Invitational?
I did sign up. Yes, I
There
might.
we go. There we go.
The team
With or
title,
without
defenders.
I hope he can join me.
You need to get him that Ben Gay or Icy Hot or whatever.
Salon Pause. We need a sponsor.
Pause.
I know Powers is listening. He'll be on the phone with Salon Pause in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So with that, right? Have you kind of plotted out what that looks like for you, right? Have you circled the calendar? We talked about the NEPA, right? You signed up already, but how does that work in your mind, right? When that clicks in and you get that win, right? You're right now, right then you're in the moment, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna take a shot now here for a little while. How does that change how you approach your day to day, your practice, how you plot out the calendar year now?
Yeah, so having this job at Lulu is actually it's different than anything I've ever kind of done in the last 10 years. I've always been an assistant, work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Your practice is not, you don't have much time to practice. If anything, you'll go out and play 9 holes, after your shift. But being able to teach, kind of make my own schedule, I have a lot more free time. So I'll definitely be taking advantage of that and just, hanging out at Lulu. If I'm not teaching, I'll be playing with members, practicing, but definitely going to focus on my game a lot more this summer and hopefully get in shape for the fall.
Will you come down here then in the winter when Lulu closes? Come back to loop at Seminole?
Yeah, I'll be back to Seminole in November.
Yeah, talk about that looping at Seminole. Has caddying at a place like that, has that taught you anything about, that you can sort of transfer to your game when you're playing?
In terms of what? What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. It's just sort of, I
seeing the players play a high level course all the time.
Exactly. That's where I'm getting at.
Yeah, for sure. I meet a lot of cool people at Seminole, people you'd otherwise probably never meet in your life.
Right.
CEOs of tour players and everything in between. Seen a lot of good golf firsthand, caddied for a bunch of tour guys. And, it's easy to say that their game is not that much different, but, the biggest difference is, kind of your perseverance and how much you're willing to put into it and how much you're willing to deal with until you succeed. I caddied for a couple guys. I think Keegan Bradley said he went to Q school 10 times or something ridiculous. One of these guys, they said they went 10 times and they finally broke through, and they've had an amazing career ever since. So hearing something like, I don't want to go to Q school 10 times. And there twice.
So have you saying that you don't want to go to Q school 10 times or, hearing stories like that, is there something that you've set in your mind, hey, when I reach age, whatever, or after I go to Q school X amount of times, is there a time that you're going to fully make the transition to coaching, or have you not thought about that
yet? I'm like probably the most spontaneous person you ever meet. Like go
Love
with the
that.
flow out. Like how I feel is just how I'm going to go with it. I'm not a good planner, so I think I'll be able to tell. If I'm close this year, maybe I give another run. If I'm maybe I'm just burnt out. Who knows? But it's hard to put a timeline on something like that.
For sure. And how you're feeling in the moment.
Yeah.
So now that you're teaching, what would you say you probably have been for some time, but what's your style? Like if someone describes like what type of golf teacher are you? Right. I know it's sometimes tough when you're competitive and you're playing. It's like trying not to think about yourself and the person you're teaching. What would you say your style is?
I'm like a feel player, not technical at all. I take like a very simple approach to teaching, try and make it as simple as possible for the player to understand. I think unless I'm teaching a complete beginner, everyone kind of has their own natural swing. And unless you're willing to rebuild your swing and commit to it for a season or two, like I don't like to start at step one. So I'll just take someone's natural swing and we'll start from the fundamentals, basically a lot of pre-shot stuff, grip, setup, alignment, because a lot of times that's all. Someone could be lined up differently from where they think they're lined up, and that's throwing off the rest of their swing. So I actually just gave a lesson today to a guy. He's in his 70s, but he's won a bunch of stuff in the Gap region, been a good player his whole life, and he was like so off. He's like toe shanking his irons. Like these are just shots that you don't normally see this guy hit. So I was like, all right, I'll take a look. And by the way, this was his fourth lesson of his life that he's ever taken. So I'm like, me. Like, so I did the same thing.
We're the first three with Mike Dinda.
What's that?
I said we're the first three with Mike Dinda.
Wow.
Not sure. But
that's a low blow.
Yeah. So no, I did the same thing. Just kind of got his swing on film and like, where do you think you're aimed? I'm aimed here. I'm like, well, you're literally 40 yards right of where you think you're aimed. So the reason you're booking it is you're doing this, that, and the other thing. And so, but anyway, by the end of the hour, he was back to like striping it, picked up 20 yards with a 7-iron, like his dispersion tightened up. So it's just like, I like teaching better players because they understand it more versus a beginner. There's so many different things you can talk about. It's kind of hard to hone in on one thing, but yeah, that's my style. I'm very simple, and I like to try and have the student understand, give them one or two swing thoughts, and hopefully they're hitting it better by the end of the lesson.
Cool. I would say if I call you, just don't answer. That's probably your best bet. That's the one piece of advice I can give you. If you see my number, just be like, nah, sorry, dude. I'm busy.
His first advice would say, take the hat off because it's probably messing up the weight distribution.
Yeah, I think you've given some lessons to one of my buddies, Matt Parker, who's over at Lulu now too, and while you were at Sandy Run. But I got a question for you because you're from my neck of the woods, and you're from up around Lancaster County and Berks County come together at a place near Calico, which I think is where you grew up. And I'm right across the mountain from there. So explain your golf journey. When did you get involved in the game? How early? Who was your influence? Was it your dad or your uncle? Or, how did you get involved in the game of golf, coming from suburban Lancaster County?
Yeah, so we would always do I grew up a skateboarder playing soccer and baseball. My brother skateboarded, always wanted to be with him, take after him. So skateboarded up until basically freshman year of high school. Like for birthdays and stuff, we used to go to the driving range, play mini golf, but I didn't get my first set of clubs till freshman year of high school. And it was actually at that time, I was with my brother. We were skating with his friends. They were filming, like going pro, and I'm just hanging out. Long story short, we all get arrested for trespassing, kind of wrong place, wrong time. So I'm in there. Huh?
While skateboarding?
Yes. So anyway, instead of paying a fine, we did community service. My first day of community service was at the high school, and I had to wash the windows to the front end. So as soon as the bell rings, I'm out there washing the windows. All his friends, all my friends are leaving. Like, Trevor, what the hell are you doing? Why are you washing the windows? So anyway, that was like a a wake up moment for me. Like, hey, I'm not going pro skateboarding. Like, let me try this golf thing. So went out for the golf team freshman year of high school with my skater friends. We all shot in hundreds. But if you went out for the team, you got a free membership at Fox Chase. So basically all summer, you know, I was there after school, before school, playing and practicing. You know the whole deal. Like, you're there for 36 holes, you hit balls, you have lunch, you do the same thing over and over again. Started working there. And that's just kind of how I fell in love with the game. Just kept me out of trouble. It gave me something to work towards. And I fell in love with kind of seeing the improvements week after week and seeing the scores get better and hit better shots. So fast forward senior year, I got pretty good by senior year, but it was too late to get kind of college scholarship offers. I hated school and I didn't want to go into debt. So I was all set up to play D2 golf at Millersville. I found out about this golf management program. So I enrolled online. I knew you could do all the schoolwork online as long as you were working full time in a golf shop. So, you know, I think it was 2 days before freshman year orientation, I decided to bag it and go this route with golf and kind of never looked back. So started working right away, kept playing, started playing section events, meeting other guys in the section, other pros. And yeah, that's kind of I've been doing that for the last 10 years, just trying to get better each year. I've met so many people, you know, through golf that, like I said, I'd otherwise never meet. I traveled all over the country, out of the country. It's been a crazy journey, but I probably wouldn't change anything.
I could just see it right now. You win the PGA Championship. You have the mug shots of Tiger and Scotty and John Daly and Trevor Bensel right there, right?
With the
I
skateboard.
could just see it right there, right in front of us.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing.
Good stuff.
That's wild, but great that it happened, because look at the path that it took you on. What a cool story. Well, obviously, we're always rooting for you, but
No
Philly
doubt.
Podcast, as you know, let's take it back to the roots. We always ask this question: your number one golf course in the Philadelphia area?
It's got to be Marion East. I
Great
played it probably 5 years ago, and then I just played it. I actually played the day before the Haverford, and played with a good friend, Brad McFadden. He had me out there, and yeah, Marion East is just awesome. There's such a good mix of short par fours, long par fours. The par threes are awesome, but you still got to place your ball in the fairway. I mean, the rough is nasty. The green complexes, it's awesome. I would play that every day.
Give us one that people wouldn't say, you know, first, second, third, fourth. Give us one down the line a little bit.
Gotta go Lulu.
That's right. I agree.
Last
Yeah.
Donald Ross. It's in great shape. It's diabolical on the greens. Like, it's a good test when the greens are running and the rough is up. It's fun.
Harry would agree with you.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Awesome.
the time. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
congratulations.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for coming on. We'll be checking it out. I need to get out to Lulu again soon. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Definitely got to get out there. Always enjoy myself when I'm there. One of the greatest memberships in the area, hands down, no doubt about it. The guys are great over there. So continued success to you, and we'll be checking out, and obviously we'll see you in person up at in Scranton, late summer, early fall. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You got
Thanks,
it.
Trevor.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we will be right back. Yeah, we'll do the memorial and then
cool.
And welcome back to Swing It and Ding It. Thanks again to Trevor Bensel for coming on. Lulu Country Club. That's a great move from him too, Har, right? Like, you know, of all the places to come back to, he had some options, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That place they are a very competitive group of people and teachers and coach. I think they push each other there, and good for him.
Yeah, he was over at Sandy Run for a while, teaching, and I think he was involved with Clubhouse 54 for a short bit, but now at Lulu, and you know, he goes to Lulu and he wins a big tournament. So it's crazy.
Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
So speaking of winning a big tournament, just like any, just like a normal week, Spieth almost kills someone and Scotty wins, right? And I tweeted this. I said, Scheffler just smothers you with consistency, right? He just, there's sometimes in these rounds where you look at him, it's like par, 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 par. And it's like everyone else is going up, down. And this guy is just so level. We're witnessing something pretty special here. And I think it's evident when you're listening to Jack Nicklaus, right? Talk about it. And you're really starting to put it in perspective. And you know, you're seeing the age of which this guy is starting to get these wins. Because it's so hard to compare anyone to Tiger, right? I didn't get to see Jack, but it's so hard because it's ridiculous. But when you see some of these stats about, you know, pretty close to the number of wins at his age, it especially because the guy has a wild movement in his swing too, right? So you're always kind of captivated watching him. But once the swing is through, he don't give you much, right? He's not flashy. No, he's not making these crazy shots to get back. He just smothers you with consistency. So incredible performance, Harry, once again from Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, I mean, his 16th win on tour. It's back-to-back Memorials. It's his third win of 2025, and it wasn't too long ago when we were like, hey, when's Scotty going to win? You know, because he had come back from that injury, and he was close, but he wasn't knocking it down, and now all of a sudden he's got 3, and, you know, we're looking at the U.S. Open here in 2 weeks, but he also has won back-to-back Players Championships, and he won back-to-back Phoenix Open. So, you know, when he finds places, sort of like Tiger. Now, like Tiger had places where he would win, and he would win a lot. Now, we'll see if, you know, as years go by, you know, does Scotty, you know, pile up 5 Memorials? Does he, you know, does he win a couple of more Players Championships, more Bay Hill? He won twice at Bay Hill, but it wasn't back-to-back. But there were certain courses that Tiger just dominated at. And, you know, we're starting to see the beginning stages of that with Scotty Scheffler. We'll see if it continues. But, yeah, you talk about all the pars. Colt Knost on the broadcast got crucified by some people that I know and just regular people that probably I don't know, because he said he plays boring golf. And it is boring golf because he's not Phil Mickelson. He's not Tiger Woods in this fact that he would, you know, maybe blow one 20 yards, you know, left of the fairway and then come up with some miraculous iron shot and put it to 10 feet. That's not really what he does. He's fairways and greens. And, you know, he birdies the par 5s because you're supposed to birdie the par 5s, and that's how he wins. And he had 4 birdies in the last 5 holes on Saturday after all pars. And it was like everybody else, Ben Griffin and a couple of guys making bogeys, making birdies, making bogeys. And everybody's sort of staying around. And Scotty was just right there with all pars and then goes birdie, 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 par, birdie to finish. And in birdieing 18 is hard to do. That's a really hard hole. And that's really what put him in the you know, gave him the championship to lose. The closing stretch, 16, 17, and 18, he was 3 under par all week with no bogeys. He was 8 under par on the par 5s. He had 4 bogeys and a double the entire week. That's it. And then after that double bogey, which was on 10, he went birdie, birdie right after it. He always seems to like answer a bogey with a birdie. Like, that's what this guy does. Like, we're starting to see how he plays golf, and it's amazing to really watch. It might not be dazzling. It might not be, you know, highlight reel stuff. But when you start to see just the way he takes apart a golf course and his philosophy, the way he has a game plan and he just executes it. He and his caddy are terrific at it. It's really something to watch.
And they get the job done. Moose, you mentioned Jack saying, you know, commenting on him, and he said, Ben Griffin's a nice player. Sepp Straka is a nice player. Nick Taylor's a nice player, but Scotty knows those guys aren't in his league. And then he started talking about a conversation he had with Scotty where he said, you know, do you watch the leaderboard? And Scotty's like, well, yeah, of course I do. And he went on to explain a little bit further. I see who is up there to see how I have to tailor my game, how hard I have to go. Do I need to like really step on the gas, or do I just have to kind of, which is funny. Like, we've seen that, you know, a couple tournaments ago, where he's like, I'm not going to win this one. Like, let's just hit the center of the green and get out of here. Like, knowing the level of golf he plays and just how he has to be strategically.
Spieth had some great comments when he just talked about he is meticulous in his club face impact. He said he's never seen someone that is so hyper focused on that. And I mean, that's what you see, right? He doesn't miss fairways. He doesn't make miraculous shots because he's never out of place. He said he is just a machine with getting that club face on the golf ball.
Imagine if that can be your only swing thought, is just being that meticulous with just have the ball hit the center of the club face. If that's it, and you'll win 3 times in a month, let's go.
It starts with how meticulous he is with the grip. You see how he's Mr. Grip. Like he's constantly focused on him having the right grip, which and then enables him to control the club face.
Yeah.
There's a lot of amateurs can learn by what he does. There really is. There's not a lot of razzle dazzle, not a lot of highlights kind of stuff, but what he does and the way he approaches it, he's focused on the grip, and that enables him to control the face.
Do you try to replicate that grip, or do you watch?
It's amazing. No, I can't. I can't do that. Yeah, I got nothing.
Now the other story is a guy that's playing lights out, and it's tough when you have someone like Scotty Scheffler that's just so dominant. But Ben Griffin just playing incredible golf. He shoots up the U.S. team rankings for the Ryder Cup, sitting right in that right outside of the automatic bids. But just incredible performance, and they got into it a little bit with the glasses, right? The aviators that he wears, but he talks about why, right? He needs them. He has these floaters that he thought he was going to be having surgery, or I think he did have surgery, and then thought he was going to be affected by it permanently. So a guy that's super easy to root for, really likable guy. When he's on, he's playing really good golf. So it's cool to see his story. It's always hard when you have Scotty just dominating, but to see a story like Ben Griffin is cool. And I know, Danielle, you know his game and know him pretty well.
Yeah, I've seen his career develop from, I guess it was Latin all the way, then he won the NEPA Invitational. Him and Brandon, I saw both, in the same rookie class on tour. So just watching him come up and, get his first, he had, at Zurich, and then getting his official solo win on the PGA Tour and then contending last week. It's been awesome. Yeah. Like you said, very easy guy to root for. He shared a story of how, his family was hit really hard by the pandemic, the recession, lost their house, everything else, to have him humanize and share his story, and how we all know how he quit golf for a little bit, was working in insurance and everything else. So I think, trying to work that normal 9-to-5 grind and then say, wait a second, let's get this out here. I think Lord Abbott said, let's sponsor you, give you that money, got him back out there. And it's just been cool to see him rise and have the success he's having. Very cool.
Very cool. And, something like, to finish off the memorial, he had Sepp Straka again, in third place, right? He's playing incredible golf. Nick Taylor, who had some struggles coming down the stretch there in fourth. Russell Henley, who kind of he pops up with flashes and lurking. He's lurking. Maverick McNeely is another guy who's playing really good golf. And then Ricky Fowler gets in a T7, gets himself into the Open Championship, and with Tom Hoagie right there behind him, another guy whose name's been over the board, and Spieth as well. Yeah. And what'd you think about the golf course and how it played this year here?
Well, it's always really difficult. I mean, Jack wants it that way. That it's Kentucky bluegrass rough. He likes tighter fairways, longer rough. He wants it to be a really good test, and it always is. It's a terrific place. And the players, I think they love going there. They know it's a real challenge, and that's the way Jack wants it. And the weather really helped out too. I mean, the rain, they got so much rain, and it made that rough really lush and wet. And that's really hard to play from. If you miss the fairways, you got penalized. It's amazing what it does to these guys who are the best in the world at it. When you give them some 4-inch rough, and it's wet, and you got really tough greens, and they're not huge greens. They're I think 5,000 square feet, which is kind of middle of the road for what they typically play, but they're smallish for most of the PGA Tour venues, and they got a lot of undulation, and he sticks the pins in really difficult spots, and there's water hazards all over the place. It's a really hard track. And, I think Mother Nature made it even harder, but, we saw some really high scores. I mean, really good players shooting really high scores.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, well, let's spill
Denny
some
McCarthy.
Denny. Yeah, had a tough week.
He loves that place, too.
Golf is hard.
I know. All right, let's spill some tea, sponsored by our friends at Wear SPF, Danielle.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about Scotty for probably 80% of the show, so let's just stay on that. Caddying for number one in the world isn't bad, especially after he gets his third win in 1 month. Scotty's caddy, Ted Scott, posted a video dancing in the room post-win. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was pretty great. We'll have to put it up on our Instagram so everyone can take a look. But assuming Scheffler pays Ted the industry standard 10% of his winnings without any tips, that means that he made himself $963,000 in the month of May.
Beautiful.
Not in the yeah. So not bad life for Ted Scott right now.
No.
Great stuff. And then just taking some time to do TikToks and make some
Sunday sermons.
The Sunday sermons are mixed in now with some dancing in the locker room. But it's pretty funny. The video starts off with like a locker room attendant kind of like cleaning off Scotty's locker, and then he comes in dancing. So it's pretty cool.
He's got some moves.
He does, not bad. He can move a little bit. You guys know that I love me some Justin Ray stats. So again, on the topic of Scotty, Scotty's last 9 outright 54-hole leads on tour all ended with a win. So that's just crazy. I know it's not Tiger stats, but I feel like we're getting closer. I know people don't like to hear the comparison, but we can't not talk about Scotty's stats when he's playing golf like this.
No, I mean we're seeing it in real time. I mean, we talked about it with Jason Sobel a couple of weeks ago. Like, when is it fair to really bring up Tiger Woods' name? Because we understand how that is, but we're seeing this happen in real time now. If it extends
right in front of us,
how long is it going to go? Is it going to be a 3-4 year run and then it's over? Well, okay, but if not, I mean, we're starting to see what we were seeing back in the early 2000s. Maybe about 70% of that with, what happened with Tiger. So,
Harry, I can't remember the stat, but I did say that with you and Jason. I said, look, like here's one that we can share. Scotty would have to do X in his next like 300 or 400 starts to reach Tiger. So kind of put it into perspective from, not discrediting Scotty in any way. But just kind of crazy.
Got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. And then you have the debate of saying like Tiger played against different people. And I think it was Jordan Spieth actually who said like, hey, like when I came out of college and, all the guys in my class, we kind of just did a little, neck crack left to right, a little, shoulder, torso twist and maybe the driver up over our head and we go. He goes, now these guys started in middle school where they're having physio, they're weightlifting, like
mental coaches,
coaches, agents, like deals in high school. They have everything and they're coming out like well past the starting point of, Jordan and those guys and even guys older than that started out. So he's like, this next class of people coming out, they're just all into health and wellness and they've been doing it since they were like 12. So you're now competing with straight up athletes who can bomb it, hit it, and are in incredible physical shape. So the game's different. Yeah, I don't think anyone was doing that, when Tiger was playing, when Tiger was peaking. The 2026 Masters tickets application for practice rounds and daily tournament tickets is now available through June 20th. So you can put your name in for the lottery and see if you have a chance at winning. Harry, are you going to submit your name?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do it every year. In
fact,
my wife sent me a text from Vegas yesterday saying to remind me to do it.
What a great wife, huh?
She wants to go.
Look at that. Yeah. Moose, do you put your name in?
I haven't, but I should.
I don't think you can wear that hat down at Augusta. I think that's an immediate no. Yeah,
no.
It's a no for them.
You'd have to check that at the gate.
That's a no for me, dog. Yeah.
I've looked over at him a couple times earlier. We had Trevor on, and I was just giggling.
Gilly the kid ain't. We don't want him in here.
Oh goodness.
That is terrific. I love it.
It's amazing.
Really, it's good.
It's pretty comfortable.
Harry, you can probably provide coverage. You're always my guy when it comes to women's golf. But I thought, we saw some stuff from Nelly coming out. She shot her best career round there. But the highlight was Maya Stark. And they asked her after she won, they said, Maya, you just won $2.4 million. How are you going to celebrate it? And how are you going to, spend it? And how are you going to celebrate? And she goes, I didn't even know it was that much. And she goes, You know what? Actually, maybe I'll just move out of my studio apartment, which I thought was just so great. And,
It's awesome.
Probably helped her win a little bit, just going in there and being like, I want to win a major. I don't, she wasn't thinking about the money. She had no idea how much the purse was. She had no idea she's walking away with 2.4 mil. She's just going out trying to contend and trying to win. So definitely somebody who's now on my radar that I'll easy to root for. It's someone like that.
Oh, she really wasn't confident at all in her game coming into that U.S. Open. It was just sort of trying to piece things together, and then the game comes together. Next thing you know, in the weekend, you're right there. And Nelly showed out enough for a Sunday tease at least, and finished second, which was cool to see. But they took on that monster golf course. For the LPGA, that's a big golf course. That's the one that Brooks Koepka won back on in 2017, and it was pretty crazy. I actually watched more of that on Sunday than I did the Memorial because I knew Scotty was going to win.
Yeah, you're like, this is we already know the outcome. But is it Maria, sponsored by Adidas, who bombs at a mile? She was getting a lot of media coverage.
Oh, the young girl, I think from Spain.
Yeah, I think it was Maria. Something she was easy to root for too. She was just fun to watch. Her swing was great, and she hits it a mile, so that was kind of cool too.
It was cool.
I actually enjoyed watching a little bit of women's golf this past weekend. So,
look at
like you said, look at me, I'm coming along.
The biggest chauvinist in the show. Look at her.
All right, we've been talking about this forever. This movie has the most cameos almost out of any movie, which I don't know if that's setting up to be great or terrible. Harry probably could have broken the record if he would have just stood in that casting line and became one of the alternates. We could have had a cameo by Harry Mays, but Happy Gilmore is out. We're seeing cameos from everyone, including Rory, Brooks, Bad Bunny, and Wear SPF's Justin Thomas. So you guys got to get out. You got to watch Happy Gilmore. Let us know your thoughts on it and who's your favorite cameo. And maybe if they
I saw Eminem. I think I saw Eminem's in it too, right?
The list goes on and on. I pulled out a few where I was like, okay, let's throw in some of our, the golfers.
We know Paige shows up in there.
Paige is there.
Of course.
Yeah. But the list goes on and on and on. And I think I saw somewhere on the internet that it was like 83 or something cameos, and the most in a movie is 85 or something like that. So I was like, does that make it good or it makes it terrible? I don't know. And plus, I never really like a sequel. I always like the main one, Space Jam with Jordan, and then you're going to try with LeBron. It's like, nah.
It's because, the sequels rarely ever deliver. So I'm hoping that this delivers because, it's got a lot to live up to. There's no question about it, So.
And then you have the other show, Apple Stick with Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Does anybody? Oh, premieres.
I'll watch.
Actually, it comes out tomorrow, I think.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's a golf movie?
Yeah, it's golf.
It's a show.
It's golf. Yeah.
It's
a show. What?
Show, with Owen Wilson.
Is it Netflix?
Apple TV. That's what I was trying to say.
Apple TV. I have that. So we'll watch that.
Yeah.
I have everything. It's like you need every single thing. You need Peacock and Apple TV and Hulu and Netflix.
Next thing you know, you're paying exactly what you were paying before for cable.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all working out. Well, that is the Tea with D. And that is sponsored by Wear SPF. And if you're looking for sun protection that actually works and feels great, Wear SPF by PGA Pro Justin Thomas has you covered on and off the course. Dermatologist tested and sweat resistant. It's broad spectrum SPF that won't mess up your swing or your skin. From the first tee to everyday life, protect your skin like the pros. Shop now at wearspf.com. That's wearspf.com and stay sun safe all year long.
I love it. I did so in the Dominican Republic.
I saw you with the stick on your face. I need a couple of those.
Sun's intense down there too, Moose. I mean,
it really is. And some of the guys, got some of the Italian gentlemen with me. Like, I don't need sunblock. I'm like, you don't need it in Germany.
They look like an apple the next day.
Like, you need it the first day here. But we haven't really talked since I've been back, and you can't say enough about that place. I mean, Teeth of the Dog was closed. We got a chance to see some of the renovation going on, which it's wild to see just how much. I mean, they are just stripping the entire course and rebuilding it.
Really?
Jerry Payton signed. Yeah, I mean, every single hole. it's impressive to see. And I've been following it on social media, but to see it in person is just crazy. Like knowing the course, just to see an entire fairway just ripped out is nuts. But our friend Robert Bertel and his team, Todd Gilly and the folks there, just they always roll out the red carpet, and it was tremendous. 2 rounds at Die 4, which is just an incredible golf course. It's crazy that that's like considered the second course at this place.
Which is nuts. Yeah.
Wow.
Anywhere else, it would be the first. Yeah, and we played La Romana, which I talked to you guys from there, which is cool to play.
How was that?
Because that's the private course, right?
That's the private course. So you're playing, a country club, and it was hard. I mean, it was some of the toughest greens I've ever seen. It doesn't have any like dramatic views or anything like the other courses, but from a pure golf course perspective, it was tremendous. And one of the coolest like clubhouse, open air patio, ending holes. It was so much fun. And the whole crew had a blast. We really enjoyed ourselves. I've been thinking about it every second since I've been back, and
that's cool.
Wanting to get back there. So yeah, it was tremendous. How about you?
Did you get on his daughter's golf career? Any more hole-in-ones?
No, Eleanor, no more hole. But I did, send her some merch. She's got the swing it and ding it hat and quarter zip, so she's ready to go. And
I love that.
I mean, that
get some stuff out there. Patrick Sheehan and his mom, Brandon, just played a practice round with him. A canoe broke.
I have to say, I thought I did.
He was involved in that.
I didn't ask, so they may have grabbed it. But yeah, yep.
Him and Brandon, let me double check. I may have spaced on that one.
Well, Jim she's going to be listening to us on Saturday on Earth. So you got to make sure.
Yeah.
Jim Smith said it's his favorite place on earth, goes there every year. So that's a huge endorsement too.
I agree.
I got to get back there now post baby, so I can actually play 36 without a child in my stomach.
And now my buddies are saying that that's where they want to go on the next trip, because we just got back from Bay Hill and Stream Song.
A
little over a week. We've been home for more than a week. It doesn't even seem like that. But what a couple of days, man. I mean, we flew into Orlando and went over to Bay Hill and stayed in a house right off the clubhouse, right near the short game, one of the short game areas there. They've got 27 holes. They've got the 18 that you see on the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and then they've got another 9 that is really good, but it was closed. The other 9 was closed the 2 days we were there. So, we got stuck on the regular championship course, for both days. So, good luck by me, I guess, for once. But what a couple of days there. I mean, the golf course is terrific, and knowing the place like I know it from watching the Arnold Palmer for all these years. And some of my friends were amazed, like, how do you know this hole? I'm like, because I've watched the tournament. Like, I know it's going to do this, and it's going to, this is what you got to do. They were blown away by it too. I'm like, I just wish I could play it as well as I know it, But I did make a couple of nice pars, and I birdied number 8, which is it's the third handicap hole, and I always remember it when the pros play it there, because they always have a hard time. Some of them leave it up in the trees on the right, and they don't get it down into the fairway, and then you got water to go over, and it's a tricky green. I hit a five hybrid to 1 foot the second day I played it. The first day, to a foot. It was a tap-in birdie. And then the first day I hit a driver, and it hung up in the rough on the right. I just said, I'm just going to pitch it, a little gap wedge, leave myself 100 yards, put it to 10 feet, and I made par. So, I played the hole magnificently for 2 straight days. Yeah. And to stand on the tee on that big par 5, number 6 that goes around the freaking lake, to see where Bryson was when he took that line and hit it, is unbelievable. He stands there and he goes like, it's unbelievable. And then you see on 10, like the 10 starts the back 9. It's a dogleg right. It's a housing development, right? The back tee, which isn't that much further back than the tees that we played on this hole, but to see the line that Rory took over the houses, he took the dogleg out of play and hit it over the houses, over the trees, and put it on the green. Now, I made 5 there, and I was very happy to make 5.
Yeah.
But he put it on the green. I'm just like, oh, my God. So that kind of stuff. I parred 18, which is a great hole. You remember seeing Arnold Palmer hitting that shot up where it kind of took the curve, the left to right. He's Tiger Woods making all those great pars or 8 birdies on 18. It's just a really cool place, but it looks so different when we played it as opposed to when they play it in March, because the rye overseed makes it green, and it's green like Augusta green.
Really?
It wasn't that way when we played it because the Bermuda is taking over now, and it's kind of that yellowish, brownish
Harry, when I
greens.
was there.
No, it was cool. It was cool. I loved it. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
No, but
how
I'm
it
providing
looked
maybe a
different.
little bit more context. Is when I went there, B was playing, and I had on brand new, clean, crispy white shoes. And I remember either walking up to, just see him or whatever it was, and coming back, and my shoes were green. They spray painted all the grass. And so I was like, oh no, my brand new shoes.
Yeah.
And there's no getting spray paint off of them. So yeah, it's not always what you say. We saw it at the Truist. All of a sudden they're planting flowers and just, they need that backdrop. So they're going to spruce it up a little bit. If there's some dead grass,
so it pops
spray
on
paint
TV.
spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Stream Song, Har?
Stream Song was awesome. We drove an hour and a half. It took actually almost 2.5 hours to get. The traffic was incredible on I-4. But we get there, and this place is in the middle. It's like you're in the desert with humidity. That's the best way I can describe it. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Opening an oven.
Yes, but it's like it was old orange groves and citrus groves and stuff, and they're building core. It's like you're on the moon and you're in the desert. It's really crazy. And they've got a couple of different clubhouses, and you stay at the hotel's great. The food was pretty good. It wasn't as good as Bay Hill. Bay Hill's food was top notch. Yes.
What'd you have?
And Bay Hill's stuff, you walk into Bay Hill's clubhouse, it's like you're walking into 1970.
Yeah,
I love that.
It was really cool, and it's like a monument to Arnold Palmer, as you would expect. Pictures everywhere, and it really, really
old
cool.
wood,
Yes. It just has that old sort of, not a bad smell, but it's like you're walking into your uncle's place. You know what I mean? It was really cool. Stream Song, totally modern, totally stripped down and cool. The golf courses were great. The Gil Hanse was the black course. That was incredible. And Tiger Woods' son played and won the junior event 4 days later after we were there. They were there on the practice round. They're setting up the golf course when we were playing it. And they came in 2 days later, played for 3 days, and Charlie Woods won the damn thing. So, that's an incredible course. The Tom Doak course, the blue, is great. I didn't play the red because it was in the afternoon and it was like 96 degrees, and I didn't feel like going out for another 18. So I passed on that. But it is an unbelievable place, a great guy's trip or gal's trip, whatever. I highly recommend both. Yeah, terrific.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm hearing Casa de Campo is selling out like 26 and 27 because of the reopening of Teeth of the Dog.
Oh, wow.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. There you go.
When's a slated opening date for that?
They're saying like a full year. So they shut it down basically January 1st, I guess. So the plan is to open it right at the beginning of 26, but we'll keep everybody posted on that.
Wow.
So
very cool.
Yeah,
I'm heading up there for Gabby's getting married, so we'll be going up there next week, and we're starting her entire week off on Thursday at Ramblewood Country Club.
Okay.
It's
one of Jaws' places.
Jaws. It's
around Jaworski owns it.
Yeah. So we'll be playing a little bit of golf up there. So I heard it's been raining a lot up there. If you guys can, Harry, if you can leave the state for me.
I heard a rumor that
it's been raining.
There was a Ramblewood golf cart that was randomly found in like a Wawa parking lot.
I believe
the
that.
guys, the cart barn guys, couldn't find it. It was missing. They didn't know where it went, and it turned up randomly a couple hours in the middle of the night in a Wawa parking lot. So
wow,
that's awesome.
All right,
we have had so much rain
in
here, Danielle. You won't believe. Like everything's green I mean, it's unbelievable.
I fly in Wednesday. I fly in Wednesday morning if we need to get the band together.
Yeah, I'm
sweet.
Wednesday morning. Well, I'm available.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
I land at like 9:30 something. So
what, next week?
Yeah, this upcoming week. Well, next week. So
yeah, cool. All right, well, let's close it out with the RBC Canadian Open, TPC Toronto. First time I hit up our friend Eric Robinson, Instagram, great follow on Instagram, by the way, and he was giving me some insights. Eric.Robinson93. He give him a follow. He reviews a lot of the courses, but he said he thinks it's going to be very scoreable because they're gonna cut some angles and do some crazy shots over the trees. But he's interested to check it out. Said it's a great golf course. You have no Scotty, so congratulations to the field.
Rory took a couple of weeks off, didn't talk to the media, blew off Jack Nicklaus,
skipped an elevator,
and now he's coming to Canada because Scotty ain't there, and he can look like a hero.
I was surprised, but I think RBC's paying him.
Well, of course,
sure.
But he can also look like a hero to the PGA Tour because he's going to promote this event. He's like a magnet for people to come to this event.
He's the attraction.
By the way, Scotty's not there, so Rory's the
let's talk about the course. Of course, I hope you talk about the rink a little bit, Harry. And
I
love that feature here. But TPC Toronto.
Yeah, TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley North Course. They got a bunch of courses here. It was actually a reclaimed gravel pit back in the day, and now it's a par 70, 7,389 yards. Doug Carrick design back in 2001, and a guy named Ian Andrew came in 2 years ago and renovated the place. But this Carrick designer is primarily a Canadian golf architect. So he's designed a ton of really nice golf courses throughout Canada. So I'm sure, a bunch of the Canadian players in the field have had a lot of experience with his kind of designs. We'll see if that gives them any kind of advantage. The greens are 6,500 square feet. They're bent grass and POA mix. The fairways are bent grass and POA mix as well. And they average 37 yards wide. That's kind of wide. I mean, typically 25 yards, 27 yards. These are a little wider, so a little more forgiving off the tee. But if you miss the fairway, the bluegrass rough is 3.75 inches and growing. So that's by the end of the week or by the weekend, that's going to definitely probably be 4 inches. 48 sand bunkers, not a lot. Only 3 water hazards, and it's in play on 3 holes, I believe. There's only 2 par 5s, so it's not as scoreable as par 5s would indicate. Number 1 and number 18. And there's 4 par 3s. They range from 144 yards to 237. And the rink hole is the par 3 14th hole, Moose. And they can take that down to as low as, I think, 125 yards. These guys will be hitting some, really lofted wedges, or they take it up to maybe a pitching wedge. But that's going to be a fun hole. They'll be, tapping the boards, banging the boards. I think that is a great effect for this
awesome.
Open. It's really, of course, plays into the whole hockey thing, which is great. The shortest par 4 is the 350-yard number 6, and they can move the tees up on a couple of other ones to make them more playable. But there's going to be a lot of long par 4s. The finish is 16 is a 513-yard par 4. Then you go to 17, which usually plays as number 8 and usually plays as a par 5, a 530-yard par 4. So the 2 monster par 4s back to back. And then the finish is the 18th hole, 581-yard par 5 that has a shaved bank leading down into a pond that sits just front left of the green. So big risk reward. You can go for it in 2, but if you hit that shaved area, it's going to probably roll back into the water. So very interesting golf course. I'm curious to see it. Never seen it before, and I'm curious to see. I doubt a lot of the players have ever seen this before. Maybe even some of the Canadian guys. So looking back, into the past history of RBC Canadian Opens will really not help you this week when it comes to picking guys in fantasy gambling or one and done.
Yeah, I actually went with Robert McIntyre just because, on
a repeat. Wow.
Yeah, on a repeat. I don't know. You have Luke Clanton making his pro debut.
I love that guy.
How about his line is short too? 3,500.
I love him.
I
love him in a top 20. I took him in a top 20. The kid is a stud.
You have Rory, who's won this event twice, right?
Your guy Harry Hall came out as ranked 8 in the PGA Tour power rankings.
He's way up the board too.
He can putt.
Of course, you got your Canadians and Mackenzie Hughes and Nick Taylor and Corey Connors, Taylor Pendrith.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see the line with our friends at Bet Parx. All right, so this is it was Scotty versus the field for a while, but now you kind of have Rory versus the field at plus 450, two-time winner of this event. Corey Connors, you knew he was going to be up that board at plus 1200, and then Ludwig Oberg, right? Is he gonna pop back up? Right, he's been a little bit off, right?
He's been struggling the last couple of weeks.
You have Lowry, who's always in the mix, Sam Burns, Pendrith, Danielle, who you mentioned, Harry Hall's getting down the board a little bit, but this is an interesting one, and Sam Burns keeps popping out at me for some reason. The Canadians do seem to care more, right, when it is this event. But the one guy I would love to see, and I love his number, is Gary Woodland. Like, even if you look at him in a top 5 at plus 1100, and then what are your thoughts on Wyndham Clark? What do you think? Do you think he's
a
back
mess?
You think he's going to be top of the board at all anymore? Do you think
he could be top of the board, or he could miss the cut? Like that's the way it is with him.
That's golf. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's also golf. Yeah, unless you're Scotty Scheffler. Yeah.
But he seemed like he was going to be, a top 5 consistent player, right? He seemed like to be one of those guys.
Mental with him.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
He's kind of like Max Homa. To me, they're very similar players in that they really need to have a lot of, like, they lose confidence in their own ability. Like, as the game is happening, it's amazing.
Another
Max was hot for a little bit, and then I think it's just he's struggling, so he's maybe searching right now. I mean, he was just carrying the bag for himself. And
he fired his caddy.
Fired his caddy.
Yeah, he's got a new caddy who actually caddied for Tiger Woods recently. The guy named Lance Bennett is the caddy now for Max Homa. Carried his own bag at the U.S. Open qualifying the other day. And by the way, that's another 36 hole, trucking your own bag after you played last week, and now you're going to play this week. I think he's going to be gassed.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah, could be.
But,
any other plays you're seeing here?
I'm taking Lowry in a top 10, and I might take him in one and done. It's between him and Sung Jae for me as far as one and done. Nick Taylor in a top 10 at plus 360. He, to me, I know Connors is ranked the better Canadian player, but I would take Nick Taylor over Corey Connors any day in a match because Nick Taylor to me has balls.
And how about that? How about that Justin Rose first round leader plus 6,600?
Yeah, and he's another guy who, when he makes the cut, and he can finish 5th or he can finish 65th. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's no real middle ground with him either right now. But Luke Clanton in a top 20 at plus 150. I love this kid. Can't wait to root for him now that he's making his pro debut. And Ludwig Oberg is another guy that just where I'm just like, he could find it at any moment and go win the damn golf tournament. He's that good. Yep. But he's sort of had these Wyndham Clark finishes, T56, T48, like this kind of stuff where you're like, he's way better than that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, next week we will be previewing the U.S. Open at Oakmont, and we will be joined by none other than Jeff Kitty from Aronimink. Talking about PGA Championship. He was out officiating, I believe, the last PGA Championship, getting ready for them hosting. So it'd be cool to talk to him going into a major to talk about what that preparation is like. But I mean, everything we're seeing out of Oakmont looks unbelievable.
Oh, the rough might be 8 inches by the time they tee off.
It looks.
Somebody wrote look, they're cutting it by hand now since the machines can't get through it, and everyone's like, wait, they have scissors? But she didn't mean hands. They have lawnmowers, but they have push mowers out
300-yard par threes. This is going to be
insane.
Silly.
It's going to be so.
Totally
I can't wait
insane
to watch it. Getting the chance to play that course last year in normal conditions, obviously. But how about that? I think I shot an 83 on that. I haven't broken 90 at the Legacy Club, and I don't know if I ever have. I can't say I can't beat that course, but then I shoot an 83 at Oakmont. That makes total sense, right?
Yeah, that's hard framed in your office.
Yeah, because
some rough
I could go find my
recently,
ball and hit it back. I could always get it back in play. That's the thing, right? I just have to be able to find it.
Yeah. The wind at the 1912 Club has made me feel like I'm in Oklahoma.
What's going on out there, Harry?
I don't know. Today it
The
was
wind
nice,
the
but
wind
I
in this
didn't play.
area
Yeah,
has
it's
not been like this
unbelievable.
the past couple of years. No,
It's unbelievable.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. Thanks again to Trevor Bensel and Danielle. Safe travels up here next week. Maybe we can try to get together. Be fun.
Thanks, guys.
I'll caddy
There
for
you
you
go.
at Ramblewood.
Oh,
Yes, please.
there you go. With the hat. You got to wear
With
the
the
hat.
hat.
Yeah, with the hat.
You got it. Anything
And
for
Harry,
caddy.
you can
know
come
that.
make your first appearance caddying for Brandon.
I would love that. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Let's
Honey,
go.
we got 2 people on the bag at Gabby's outing. I said to Gabby, she's like, are you and Brandon going to come play? I was like, does he get an appearance fee?
There you go. Good question. That's a good question.
Love it. All right. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.